A local family grieves the death of a 13-year-old African-American boy attending Methuselah Middle School. This morning at around 11:30 a.m. on the corner of Pine and Parker, less than 2 blocks away from school grounds, the student, who was wearing his school uniform under a hood, was approached by 3 police officers. Less than 60 seconds after their initial encounter, officers fired 39 rounds into the body of the young man.
This just isn't right.
Whatever will we do?
We gotta go, we gotta move, we gotta end this now. We will shine like bright neon lights. Go out in a blaze of glory.
Gotta get this right.
Soar and reach brand new heights. And they will tell our story.
If only for tonight.
And the final say.
I'll lead the way.
Forever and a day.
This just in, the student has been revealed to be Kendrick Tucker of Methuselah Middle School. The county sheriff alleges that Tucker lunged at one of the officers in an attempt to take a firearm from their holster. We here at Channel 9 News have obtained footage of the encounter from one of the police officers. Coincidentally, 2 of the officers at the scene stated that their cameras had some technical difficulties.
We will take the night.
And this time we are through.
They gotta go, they gotta move, we gotta take them down.
We will shine like bright neon lights.
Go out in a blaze of glory.
Gotta fight the fight.
Soar and reach brand new heights. And they will tell our story.
I'll be the white knight.
At the final say.
Will not fall prey.
Forever and a day.
The video we're about to show you features imagery and graphic violence, racialized language, and viewer discretion is advised.
There's a darkness somewhere on the edge of town, and all of the heads of state are having a meltdown. We have to find a way to break this racial divide, an algorithm to finally draw the line. Or soon one day they could be one of yours or mine, because we weren't born blonde and blue-eyed. It's time for a change that cannot be denied.
We will shine like bright neon lights. Go out in a blaze of glory.
It's in my line of sight.
Soar and reach brand new heights. And they will tell our story.
Raise a little very high.
And the final say.
This is my day.
Forever and ever and ever. Forever and a day.
Corey?
You alive, man?
Just some resin from the sodium carbonate I'm mixing blew up into the air.
The kid in that video. I recognize him from somewhere.
He hangs out in the same wings of school as us. Hangs out with those avant-garde, weirdo theater kids.
Turned him into Swiss cheese. Some poor mortician has to pull out 39 slugs. I wonder what he was doing at the school. It's summer vacation.
Summer school, maybe? His mom works at the pharmacy down the road. I can't even imagine what she... Just you wait. The city is about to turn into another Baltimore. This is the 3rd one in the last 9 months.
Wait, 3? This has happened before.
Oh yeah. Tons.
But they're just out here picking us off one by one? Is that all we are, target practice? Man, My mom says I gotta work harder than the white kids, but I didn't.
Corey, you just turned 13. And this time next year, you'll be finishing your first year at the top prep school in the country, alongside high schoolers.
Who cares about all of that? The way things are going, we won't see high school. Not only do we have to take alternative routes to school because, bullies, but when we get there, we have to do active shooter drills. And now we have to look over our shoulders because if we look suspicious, we can... Aren't you guys scared?
Of course we are. But there isn't a cure for this, and none of us have a Nobel Prize.
Yet. None of us have a Nobel Prize yet. But I'm sure we can figure something out between the three of us. For crying out loud, Dakota is a mental calculator. Quick, what is the square root of 48,972?
221.29618,162, or 2 over 12,243 for those of you who don't get math.
See? And Dimitri, you're a computer whiz child prodigy.
In Mensa with an IQ of 141. Booyah!
And I'm gifted! I probably have the best biochemistry kit outside of the National Institute of Health. And none of this would exist if it weren't for my microbiologist mom or my pops, the computational biologist. And thanks to your dads, we have tons of info on stem cells. What if we could find our own magic bullet?
But like a vampire?
Kind of. We become vampires.
I'm vegan.
What kind of vampires are we talking about? Because they be looking real ashy no matter how much lotion they put on, and they can't be out here looking like Twilight with eczema.
Twin makes a valid point. Can I be a sexy vampire like True Blood or Queen of the Damned? I can't be out here looking like Nosferatu on a budget.
See, I'm Team Blade because, he's a daywalker and he's basically Shaft with fangs. And you know what they say about Shaft. He's a bad mother.
Vampires live forever, don't they?
Precisely. Here's a crazy notion, let's shake up evolution. Scientists believe we can't end the spell of aging. Let's put something in motion, a holy revolution. Amend an act of God, a science war worth waging. We'll stay stuck in this mortal coil. At this store, we won't lie unsung. The atmosphere, it cuts like a knife. If we're to survive, make it out alive. High or low, we'll search for an elixir of life.
You want us to find a fountain of youth? Immortal youth?
Like we won't age and be bulletproof? How sweat.
Make a magic potion, let's find a resolution. Masterminds could argue that we won't find a savior. We'll search the sky and ocean, a quick fixed contribution. And we will call them odd and crush their bad behavior. We'll make hats out of molten foil. We will soar, we will not die young. The whole wide world is just full of strife. If we're gonna thrive, we can shuck and jive. Land or sea, we'll search for an elixir of life. They say only kids and fools tell the truth.
They can be so cruel.
They'll mock us for being clever. We'll have the last laugh cause we'll live forever. The sun won't set on our youth.
Let's rock the cradle and roll. These throughout times are crippled with pride, but now we arrive with guts and nerve and drive. North or south, we'll stick out an elixir of atmosphere. It cuts like a knife.
If we're to survive,
Make it out alive. High or low, we search for an elixir of life.
We're not going to find a magic bullet overnight. This might take months, years.
It's been 5 hours! And you already have regrets!
What if we took a break? Took a walk and smelled the roses. This incident with the boy, it's gotten some traction. People are already protesting, signing petitions. Soon his face will be on t-shirts and his name a hashtag. In their eyes, he's one of the good ones. Methuselah is one of the most prestigious middle schools in the country with the highest test scores in the state. This isn't just another black boy.
You think they see our intelligence when they're rolling up on us at 30 miles an hour? You think they see the content of our character when they draw their guns? He was 13.
So we become immortal? Who wants to be 13 forever? It would suck.
See, every life has a lifespan. That's just a fact. The average life expectancy of man is just under 72. The longest living person on record is some French lady who lived to be 122. But that's nothing compared to other species. A bowhead whale lives to see 200 years. The Antarctic glass sponge can live as long as 15,000 years. The oldest living creature is the immortal jellyfish. They're able to revert completely to an embryonic state. They do this through transdifferentiation, which, as you know, alters cellular differentiation and transforms them into brand new types of cells. So theoretically, this process can go on indefinitely.
Look, we're all a little tired, okay? Let's take a break, regroup, and when we return, we can fire all cylinders and start again.
Dakota's right. I'm wiped. It's gonna be a closed casket, you know. They leaked some photos on some website. His body was unrecognizable.
Our legal system is one of the best in the world. His poor mother will get justice for this, even if the odds are like astronomical.
Astronomical? He was shot in cold blood. There were eyewitnesses and they caught it all on camera.
They get away with this sort of thing all the time, Corey. Did a quick Google search a while back when the second kid was shot. Non-federal law enforcement officers are arrested at a rate of 1.7 per 100,000 nationwide. Roughly, that means for every 58,823 people, only one corrupt cop gets arrested and convicted. Numbers, remember? They're kind of my thing. Talk later?
Later, Corey.
Scared me too when I found out. It's a doctrine. They call it qualified immunity. It shields government officials from being held personally liable for constitutional violations like the right to be free from excessive police force. You could be a literal serial killer and walk 99% of the time because the law believes police act in good faith every single time they're on patrol. I'm here if you ever want to talk.
Ah!
Sorry, I just couldn't anymore. Fool thinks we can actually find a holy grail of immortality and eternal youth. Who wants to live forever anyway?
I wanna live forever and end the summer where I can't be free to live my wildest dreams in a high-res 3D. That would be nice.
But there's always a price.
Beats aging, moving like a snail. I take a sip from the Holy Grail.
I'd hate to live forever. A ceaseless battle that will never stop. To fight for average thrills that cannot be topped. That's such a bore.
Like a silly Cold War.
That might be an epic fail. I think I'll pass on the Holy Grail. Who wants to live forever, waiting for time to stop, or the world to end?
Who wants to live for always? Future's the one thing on which we can depend.
Who wants wants to be immortal? Your loved ones would have passed. Better live like every moment was your last.
Who wants to be eternal? All of them are living minute to minute. And is life worth living if you're not in it? Who wants to stay for keeps?
Who wants to live for good?
Death gives me the creeps.
And the thought of parenthood.
I wanna live forever. An endless summer where I can't be free.
To live my wildest dreams in true fantasy. That would be nice. But there's always a price.
Like winning a free ride to Yale.
Or live your life just off the rails.
We've heard it in an old wives' tale. We're not sure about the Holy Grail.
Hey, Mom.
How's my little man? I've been calling you. Are you all right?
I'm fine. I'm just in the lab with Dakota and Dimitri. Kind of. They're on vacation. We were just messing around, but it's silly. When will you be home?
I'll be a little later than I hoped. One of the researchers, this bright young thing from Cornell, wants to share her findings on the study she conducted. But I'll be there in time for movie night. You know what you want to watch?
Hidden Figures.
That's the one with Janelle Monáe, right? Can't wait. Your father can't either. You know he's been swamped with his research, but he hasn't stopped talking about our last movie night. It's very important to him. It's very important to me. You know that, right?
Yeah.
What's with the long face?
I'm fine.
Corey Everett Just?
I said I'm fine.
Oh no! Who are you yelling at? That is not how we get down, young man.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Watch your tone. I'm not one of your little friends. Remember what I told you. I brought
you into this world and I'll take you out.
Yes, sir. Now take a breath and tell me what's wrong. This is not like you.
There was a boy, we went to school together, sat behind me in history. Earlier today, he was shot and killed by the cops. He wasn't even doing anything and they just shot him like he was a beast in the wild, like he was game to them.
That's why I called. Got a text message from the PTA.
Dakota says this happens all the time, like all the time. Apparently, I'm the last person on Earth to know that this isn't just some anomaly or coincidence. Dimitri made it seem like it was normal, like it was Tuesday. Mom, why do they hate us?
Your dad and me, all we wanted to do was protect you. You were born with strikes against you, no fault of your own. My shining star, my dream come true. One day you'll be grown in a world all alone with monsters in plain sight. They'll try to steal your light. Keep calm, be polite, watch your words, even when you're in the right. It's time to give you, it's time to give you, it's time to give you the talk. It's a necessary evil, there is no retrieval. Won't always be there to watch you like a hawk. It's time to give you, it's time to give you, it's time to give you the talk. Ooh. You're a black boy in America, baby. It's inevitable and it's unfair, and I don't believe things will change in this lifetime or the next. To them, you look menacing, you look threatening because of your skin. But I need you to be safe. They'll knock you down just for fun, just because you're frail. My baby boy, my only son, gets thrown into jail without any bail. You know they'll pick a fight. You have no human right. Dress up, sit upright, wash your hands. Everything will be alright. I have to give you the talk. It's a necessary evil, but this world ain't equal. And I refuse to see your outline drawn in chalk. I have to give you the talk. Still, I fear for you walking down the street. Still, I fear that they'll make you take the heat. Still, I fear you'll be used like a dirty rag. Still, I fear you'll be left like a poor hashtag. I grow more weary year after year, 'cause you'll never reach out of the fear. Only wanted you to enjoy life and every luxury. Have a better life than your dad and me. Dad and me. It's time to give you, it's time to give you, it's time to give you the talk. It's a necessary evil, there is no retrieval. Won't always be around to watch you like a hawk. It's sad to give you, I have to give you, it's time to give you the talk. When we get home tonight, we're going to sit down, you, your dad, and me, and we're going to have a chat. This will be the first of many, baby boy. We will answer any and every question you have to the best of our abilities and for long as it takes. Okay?
Yeah.
What were you and the twins up to? Looking up superpowers again?
Well, sort of. Did you know a human can live up to 120 years old? There are a bunch of villages in Sardinia, this little island in Italy, where 1 in 600 people make it to 100.
Studies suggest that they all have in common a rich social life, daily exercise, a mostly vegetarian diet, and when you get older, several glasses of red wine.
Do you think with technological advances that one day a man could live to see 500 or 1,000?
Well, the chromosomes in our cells have protective caps on them called telomeres. And with every cell division, those caps get shorter. When the telomeres can't protect our chromosomes anymore, the cells in our body die. The only solution to that would be to engineer our cells so that our telomeres don't get too short. Thing is, those cells already exist. You know them as cancer cells. But no man or woman or person has been able to solve the equation just yet. Big Pharma and all the anti-aging biotech business people think the best way to improve life is to go after senescent cells.
Senescent cells.
Sometimes when a cell stops dividing, it doesn't die. It keeps sending out chemical signals, and these zombie cells build up in our bodies as we age. Some think if we flush them somehow, we can expand our health and lifespan. There's metformin. It's an anti-diabetes drug. The active ingredient metformin comes from a plant, Galaga officinalis, also known as
Goatrue, French lilac, Italian finch, Spanish saffron, or Professor Weed.
Yes, exactly. Well, they did a study not too long ago. People with diabetes who take that drug compared to those who take other drugs have 30% less cardiovascular disease and 30% fewer cancer cells. Metformin regulates insulin in the body, only we haven't found the other ways in which it affects the various molecular mechanisms in our body.
Mom, I gotta go.
Okay. Love you.
The atmosphere, it cuts like a knife. If we're to survive, make it out alive. High or low, we'll search.
What's up, Corey?
No need to worry. I found a way to keep everyone safe.